I was sitting here scrolling through my news feed and I came across this story by Knowing the Narcissist, the married target. Nuns and married women are equally unhappy, so said Queen Christina of Sweden. I have not yet targeted a nun, although I would readily claim to have done so, since an entertaining tale would surely be attached to such an endeavor. It is a different story with regards to married women. Our kind often target married women and men for the purposes of seducing them, causing them to engage in an affair with us, and cause us to put asunder that matrimonial union. Why do we target people who are married? Given that our kind generally prefer to be pushing on an open door when it comes to the question of seduction, and the fact that we like to conserve energy, why would we pick a target which is with somebody else already? Not only are they with someone else, but they are married, joined together by ceremony, and therefore this coupling has become elevated to the ultimate statement of commitment. Number one reason is entitlement. The world is ours, and that includes all within it. We want, therefore we should get. The second reason is lack of boundary recognition. Nothing is off limits to us. The institution of marriage is one we respect for the purpose of a facade, but otherwise it means nothing. This was taken from The Narcissist in Marriage. Number three, lack of accountability. We might be labeled as marriage spoiler and homewrecker, but what do we care? It won't be our fault because a narcissist prospectively causes us to advance reasons as to why we have done nothing wrong. He obviously wasn't happy, otherwise he wouldn't have left. Number four, triangulation. A favored manipulation of ours which allows for contrast, the creation of drama, pitting people against each other, and the course of fuel streams. I'm not sure what that means. Number five, magical thinking. This includes the triangulation and lack of accountability, as we regard ourselves as actually doing a good thing, like the knight in shining armor riding in to rescue the damsel in distress, or the downtrodden man. As is often the case, we portray ourselves as the rescuer, at least in the beginning. Malice. The cuckold individual might be someone who was mortally offended by who mortally offended us, and by stealing something so precious as their spouse, then that allows us the sweet revenge on the transgressor. Confirmation of empathetic traits. A married person is clearly a love devotee. They will be honest and decent because they have this commitment. They subscribe to the institution of marriage, which will indicate a good moral compass. They will be caring since they have agreed to be so with someone else. And they will share their resources. Confirmation of residual benefits. It is highly likely that this individual, being part of a domestic setup, will engage in earning a wage, cooking, cleaning, and tending the needs of the other person, and putting their needs as a priority over their own. They may even be property and financial advantages after a divorce. By turning the head of this dazzling exotic creature which is locked in a gilded cage, he or she will be grateful, joyous, and ecstatic to be freed, and of course the recipient of all this positive fuel from the rescuer. Throw in the negative fuel of the spurned spouse and all the frenzy. Accordingly, the fact that someone is married signals to us that there are many benefits, and our minds sees this individual as a viable target. However, there might also be concerns as to why we might not regard a married person as a valuable target. This may include, why choose someone who's already with someone else? Surely that requires more effort than we're willing to put in. It is not because that mid-range or lesser narcissists are more likely to be deterred from hoovering when their former partner have a new partner. Does this not apply when seeking a target? Are we not concerned about the target's spouse, family, and friends? Are we not concerned about the facade of a damaged behavior within society? Would we be perturbed that this person can be stolen away from another? That means someone may steal them away from us at some point. For our questions, yes, it will require more effort, but our sense of entitlement and our unshakable belief in our brilliance and the reward that awaits us means this effort is worthwhile. Keep in mind that as we are targeting this person, we are usually devaluing our own, and therefore there is plenty of negative fuel to hand over. Now, what that means is this person is more than likely already in a relationship, the narcissist. When they target a married person, they're creating this need of that married person to be free from that hold that their spouse has on them, and at the same time they are pushing away their own partner and causing even more drama. The consideration is certainly applicable when applied to the follow-up hoover. But this is the seduction hoover, and therefore the condition is entirely different. The fear of rejection is not looming. The lesser will resort to physical violence if necessary, but the mid-range narcissist will use this attack to prove that they deserve pity and praise for doing the right thing to set the poor spouse free from their abusive tyrant. The greater narcissist will charm their way out of trouble. This is a concern, however, it is overridden because whatever criticism may come our way for interfering in a marriage, we convince ourselves that it is justified and for the greater good. This person is unhappy, bored, abused, and we are getting them out of there. If you were a real friend, you would understand that and help me. May as well manipulate the disapproving secondary source as well. Why on earth would they ever leave us after everything we have done for them? This is an interesting question, and one that warrants its own article as to why empathetic people cheat. We regard their desire to cheat as a necessary evil to escape the situation they are in, to get to a better place with us, and this is a temporary behavior which will not affect their overall nature. See, what that says is they convince this married person that they want to cheat because they're bored or they're not happy. And this married person cheats with the narcissist, and the narcissist convinces them that they're not really a cheater, but that they were really meant to be together. So that they don't let the victim, really believe that they would cheat again. That the narcissist doesn't believe that they would ever be cheated on. Our brilliance and magnetism there is a number of reasons why the married person would see us as the far greater choice. Let's see. The married target may already be with one of our kind. They will instinctively have identified a person who is susceptible of and will invariably be devalued, and therefore allow the incoming narcissist to play the role of rescuer. What that means is that they may be in a relationship with someone who is kind of full of themselves, someone who kind of takes advantage of them, and the narcissist comes in and convinces them that that person is so bad that they have to be the better choice. The married target is, of course, absolutely targeted for infidelity, and while the outcome will be irrelevant, will be a relevant conclusion of a romantic collision for the narcissist, the fact that the married target means that the coupling is going to occur. What that means is they're not just saying to this married person, let's get together and cheat, let's get together and have an affair. They're saying to them, while we're in the middle of the cheating, we're planning our escape to be together. And we're so romantic and in love. It's not just cheating, it's meant to be a romantic relationship, which it's not. People always have something to complain about with regard to their spouse. He isn't romantic anymore. She has let herself go. They never do anything together. She just wants to watch television. He won't show any interest in what I do. He insists on going fishing every weekend. He snores and it drives me nuts. No matter how trivial it is, we can always count on these little facts and uncover them and use them to our advantage. We will heighten our attractiveness based on these little things about the spouse. We will denigrate the spouse's unattractive trait. I wouldn't go fishing if I could be with you. So basically that's just saying that they pick up on your little complaints about your spouse. I could go into big detail about this. And if I get time, I will. But they will just pick up on, you may complain a little bit about your spouse is tired and falls asleep early, and you don't really, you had planned on going somewhere and they fell asleep. Or they kind of complain because they had to do some work in the yard or something. The narcissist will pick up on that little thing and they will make themselves look so much greater. I would never do that. If you asked me to work on something, I would be out there doing it. If you wanted me to take you out somewhere, I wouldn't fall asleep. So they build themselves up to look so much more attractive than your spouse. His friendly demeanor with other women is evidence of a flirtatious nature. So what that is we dangle the golden carrot in one hand and pump toxic lies about your spouse. So what it is you may, they may say to you, well, I didn't want to say anything, but I heard somebody saying that he was talking to another woman or he was flirting with another woman. And then that plants this seed of doubt in the spouse's mind of like, well, I do remember one time he was laughing and joking with this girl, or he's friends with this one or that one on social media. So that plants this seed of doubt about your spouse by the narcissist to make your spouse look like maybe they're cheating on you already, So that kind of makes you feel justified. We invent tales of your spouse's supposed misdemeanors, and we will even make them up and manufacture them. We may even send in a flying monkey to flirt with your spouse in order to provide proof. We may even get your spouse drunk at a party and flirt or come on, or even take it even farther if necessary in order to prove to you that your spouse is up to no good. Everybody has their price. Nobody is immune and above being manipulated into a position where they are seduced by us. It may take longer with others, but combine the fact that they're susceptible. They're so bored and lonely in the relationship, they're seeking excitement and to become invigorated again. The fact that we will manipulate the battlefield so it is always in our favor. We will secure our married target ultimately. Basically, that just is saying they're going to play upon the fact that you're so bored. Your marriage is stale. You don't feel that romantic draw for your spouse anymore. That sexual heightened, feeling. And the narcissist is going to make themselves look so great, They're going to bring out these emotions in you where you're going to feel like desired. They're going to make you feel desirable. They're going to tell you how beautiful you are, how sexy you are, how, just get that juice flowing in you again, so to speak. It doesn't matter if you have children. It doesn't matter what you end up losing. The narcissist does not care. They just are there to take. Their prime goal is to win. It doesn't matter that they're going to discard you once they make sure that you are no longer in that relationship, that your spouse has disowned you or divorced you, and that your children have turned on you and have sided with the other parent, that they've created this big blow up within your family dynamic, including your in-laws and your neighbors and your married friends that you associate with. They don't care that they've created all this. They're going to leave you looking like the bad guy. They're going to make sure that everybody knows that you were a cheater. They're going to make sure that everybody knows that you did all this. And they're going to leave you looking like this bad, horrible, this shady person. They will even start a smear campaign against you themselves, telling people in your friends groups and on social media and anybody that knows you. If you have children and your children play sports, they will send word out to the other moms in the sports groups that you were a cheater, that you were, flirting with a married man, that you took up with a married man, left your spouse, or that you were married and that you were cheating. So they leave you not only without anything that you had, but and rip away your life and your livelihood and your home life and your support system. But they make you out to look like the one that was behind it all to start with, We will coax, entice, and show you the forbidden fruits that await you by our rescuing hand. The more we smear your innocent spouse and the more we shower you with love bombs, your resistance will break down. Your emotional thinking will become hard logic as you become swept away by our momentum as we whisper these sweet nothings to you. You've been a wife and mother for 20 years. It's time for you to start living. Your spouse is just not interested in sex anymore, and you have needs, and here is someone offering to make you feel alive again. Your spouse takes you for granted, and here is someone who values you. Yes, he is hurt if you leave, but he'll get over it. You deserve to be happy, right? The excuses will come pouring out, and of course we will not dissuade you from thinking this way. We will say you do whatever you need to do, giving you the opportunity to back out and say, I'm going to choose my spouse in my home life and the life that I know over this excitement and this charm and this seduction and this lust They know that you're not going to do that. They know that you're going to choose them because they've already handed you the apple, you know. Married targets are often even better targets. Now, this was written and this was posted today. It was called The Married Target, Knowing the Narcissist, Narcsite.com. Let me just pause this for a quick second here. So, reading back through this, there was one part that I wanted to talk a little bit about. I'm trying to find it here. I know I was reading about it. I apologize for this. I'm just trying to go back to the exact part. It's basically where they convince you that they're unhappy. If they're married or in a relationship, where they will convince you that they have just gotten out of a relationship that is similar to yours. Now, this is what happened in my case. I had just gotten out of this relationship. And he comes along at that time when I'm just starting to kind of merge out of that relationship and start this new life. And I'm both excited and fearful, having been in this long-term relationship and not really knowing what to expect, being in my 40s, being, not really like looking to meet anybody. And then he comes along and he starts telling me, he starts listening to those little complaints that I would, and I wasn't even complaining in such a way that I even realized it. It was just conversation wise. And I would say stuff like, well, he worked so much that we just didn't really get a chance to go out and do anything. And then he would swoop in and he would say, well, I would take some time off from work if you wanted to go on a road trip, go out of town for the weekend. That was what I was trying to find, that part right there. I was trying to read it about how they will build themselves up and push your ex-partner or your current partner down. They will play on those little things that you might say about your spouse or your partner. And they will play up their difference of how they're so much different than that person, and they're going to be so much different. And also, this one part, I was trying to find it. I should have. I apologize. But it's the part about where they say this person never wanted to. They devalued me. They didn't treat me right. They didn't want to have sex with me. They only wanted to watch TV all the time. They didn't want to spend time with me. This is how he played up his relationship that he claimed he had also just gotten out of, even though he hadn't. He was still kind of in it because it was a few weeks after I had, probably a week or two after I had started staying with him in his home, that a friend of mine who also happened to live in the neighborhood asked me, when did you and him start seeing each other? When did you start staying over there at his home? And I said, well, we've been seeing each other, and I mentioned how long we'd been talking, and she seemed very shocked and surprised by that because she informed me, the woman he was living with is only, I didn't even know she had left. I didn't even know they were no longer together because she was just there very recently. And, of course, when I brought this to his attention, it was, she's lying, she's making all that up. She doesn't know what goes on in my house. She's only telling you that because she wanted me for herself, and I rejected her. And so I bought into it because I wanted to believe him. I didn't want to see anything bad in him. So he painted this other woman as like this boring person. He wanted to get out and go out with his buddies. Their wives wanted to get together and go out and do things together on the weekends, and she didn't want to go. So he was always left out. She wanted to stay at home with her nose in a book all the time, even though I found out later that she actually had a very good job and a demanding job that probably kept her away from home quite a bit, but brought in a good living, and she was probably tired, That's probably why she didn't want to get out and do a lot of stuff on the weekends. But she was probably tired from working all week. But they don't tell you those things. They tell you the things that will make the spouse look bad and will play on your heartstrings and make you feel like you're also being their savior. You're also coming to their rescue, Because you feel like you're being rescued from something that was not so great and was kind of boring and stale, and here you have been together for a really long time, and you are now feeling desired, and you're feeling wanted, and you're feeling like they are looking at you like with desire in their eyes and with kind of a romantic, sexual kind of feeling that you're getting from them, the vibe that they're putting off, and you're starting to feel that way. You're starting to get that from them because you want to save them. You want to rescue them from their boring, humdrum relationship. And that's just the game that a narcissist plays, and you don't even have a clue. I may have questioned why me. I may have questioned. There were little things like the thing my friend had come to me with about him not having been out of the relationship as long. That was a way to drive a wedge between me and this friend. And I did later find out that it was true, which made me look even worse, And that's just the games that they play. And I just wanted to read this because it's like I was talking about this before. They don't care about winning. They don't care about what the prize is. They don't care about if they get this huge trophy and these, it's like they don't care. You're not a trophy to them. The game itself, taking you away from that, taking you away from the partner, taking you away from your family, you're breaking up your friendships, breaking up your relationships, driving your children away from you, making them, and they don't even do it because they dislike you. You would imagine that someone who would target someone in that way has to be someone who is hated. But you don't feel hated. You feel loved. You feel wanted. You feel desired. You feel like that this person was who you were really meant to be with. And they play upon all that. And once they have you, and once all those relationships, and you're in a drama with your spouse, your ex, your kids are angry with you, your family has disowned you or angry with you, your friends are mad, you drive wedges between everybody, you're standing over here with just them, and you're like, I have to be happy, you all just don't understand. My happiness is important too. I'm not just a mother. I'm not just a daughter. I'm not just a friend or a coworker. I'm a woman. And this is a man that wants me and I want to be with. Then all of a sudden, he starts to pull away. He starts pushing you away. He starts to devalue you. He starts to make you feel like maybe you're not the great catch that I thought you were. Maybe this wasn't really meant to be. Maybe we rushed into it. all the stuff he lured you into the relationship with, or she lures a man into a relationship with, suddenly, well, maybe we should have thought about it a little bit more. Maybe we were just kind of both bored and we just looked at it wrong. You're thinking, I have found my soulmate, I have found my future, I never dreamed that this would become my new life. All these promises of travel and of this grand life that you're going to have together. All of a sudden, it's like, well, I don't have time to travel. I have to work. They become just like they become the spouse that you left behind. They like all the stuff that they tried to make you think was bad about your life. All of a sudden, that's what they offer you. And it's like you're just left kind of standing in a cornfield. And everybody's like way off away from you. And the narcissist is too. And everybody's mad at you, and everybody's blames you, and everybody points fingers at you. And the narcissist is back with her. They win back the person that they were with. They win back all their life, whatever. And you're just kind of left to pick up the pieces of it all on your own. And I just kind of wanted to talk about that. My dog's after something, so I'm going to end right now. But, I could go into some details, but I'm not going to right now. But thanks for listening. And I just hope that, I don't know how to exactly say this. Because if you've met a narcissist, you're not going to turn away from them. You have to learn it for yourself, just like everybody does. But I hope that you never meet one. I hope you never go through that.